Okay, we are live. Welcome everyone. I can see a lot of really familiar faces in the chat. Please let me know if the sound is okay. I'm always a bit worried because we had once the sound didn't really work. But yeah, today we have a different stream. So this is the return of the streams that we used to do at really we used to do these on Twitch, which was Nuke Compositing related. So I'm back, but of course now on YouTube because I'm a bit disappointed with Twitch, so I didn't really want to do it there. But today's stream is part of a thing that I used to do years ago. It's a part of a series called Hugo Deconstructs, and I guess that the whole idea of this is that I'm going to open some production shots and go through some stuff that we did on those shots. I have a lot of productions, I have a lot of shots, and so this is going to be once a month. So we're going to continue having streams every 2 weeks. So basically we do this stream, and then 2 weeks later we do the showreel reviews, and then 2 weeks later we do this stream again. So I'm basically going to be doing twice a month streaming. One of those days is showreel reviews, which you can send the showreel to me if you want to, for me to review it. Don't forget, of course, you need to book your slot for the review to happen. And then this kind of stream, which is me deconstructing some of the many productions that I've done over the years. So that's the whole thing, really. So apologies for not doing these streams earlier, but I've been just too busy. But this stream is only really possible because of the Foundry, so I have a t-shirt today to prove it. So this is a stream sponsored by Foundry, and so thank you so much, Foundry, for being always supporting my channel and for supporting the community. And since it's Valentine's Day, I guess, we do have a gift. Foundry was very kind to give away a Nuke license, a Nuke Indie license for 1 year to one of the lucky people in the audience. Now this is going to happen every month, so on every stream that I do in Nuke Compositing, we'll have a giveaway of a Nuke Indie license. So that you know. I've already posted the link on the chat, so you have the link there for the Foundry's giveaway. So if you don't get it today, don't worry, we're going to do this every month. But yeah, I guess that's it really. So before we begin, I'm gonna do a bit of housekeeping. So just to show you what this is all about, I'm gonna just close this and show you in a second. And so I always have to have an opportunity to show my command center. So I'm broadcasting here from Hugo's desk TV channel. Still have my weird camera there as well. So I put up a new camera over there. So that's like a more weird angle. I put it up because of the podcast I did with Ian Files, which was for Poor Things. So I kind of figured that we had to have a really weird angle for that, and that's why I put it there. So yeah, so it's that's my streaming setup there. Now, I wanted to just do a bit of housekeeping before we start. So, as I mentioned, this used to be a stream that I used to do quite a lot, and so I'm gonna show you what I mean. So I have made a playlist for this, and this playlist, if you're interested, over the years I've done quite a few deconstructions on this on my channel. And of course, these were not done live. I'll share it. Don't worry, I'll share it on the screen so you can see it. I haven't done these in a while, so keep in mind that I'm a bit rusty. So please be gentle with me. Okay, so I'll do that. Yeah, so that's it. I need to zoom in. Oh, oops, I'm already clicking on the wrong thing. I'm just gonna no, don't want that to open. Don't want to be claimed by Dune. So this is the link I just posted. So I used to do these deconstructions where I would go through my projects, the ones I directed or the ones that I would have permission from client. Now, most of the productions that I have here are quite old. The reason is because it takes me quite a long time to get permission, and also it takes me a long time to kind of go around all the materials so that we can do a breakdown and we can do a deconstruction. But this is the playlist that I've made just for you, and then I will start adding these videos into this playlist. So far there's 21 videos on this playlist. I will continue dropping them as we do these streams every month.
And so basically we have the Vermintide. We have 2 shots from the Vermintide, which we deconstruct. This is yeah. So these are 2 different ones. I need to change the thumbnail. We also have the Far Cry Taylor there, deconstructed. We have 5 sections for the home front as well. We also have like some of the shots from Down of the Titans as well. And also I have more deconstructions here from and then the very beginning, which is the Rival Kingdoms. That's 8 years ago. That's the first video on YouTube that I posted, the first sections. So yeah, so if you want to go back and check these out, these are really like worth watching. The reason I'm doing this all together is because I kind of feel that there's a lot of missing material like this on the net. It's very rare on YouTube for you to watch production shots, like you never get permitted to actually see the real shots and to see the composite. So that's my plan. And the cool thing about this is that this was very requested by my audience, and that's why I'm doing it. So that's one part of housekeeping that I wanted to give everyone. Another piece of housekeeping that I wanted to just give is that the Foundry kindly asked me to promote their YouTube channel. They're trying to reach 100,000 subscribers, which I think they've done already. But in case they haven't, don't forget to subscribe, Foundry team. It says here 100K, but they don't have the tick box yet, so maybe it could be a few thousand left, because I know this gets a rounded number. So try to support the Foundry and help them to reach 100,000 subscribers. Goes without saying, of course, that you should also do the same to my channel as well, since I'm also trying to get to 100,000 subscribers, but I'm quite far from it. I'm only at close to 60,000. So if you haven't subscribed to Hugo's Desk, please be so kind to subscribe. I have revamped my playlists here, so now I have the VFX Notes podcast here as a playlist. I have the Nuke Compositing as a playlist, some of the deconstructions that I've talking about, some of the tech reviews I have, some of the beginner Nuke for beginners, also the showreel reviews are here as well. The onset supervision is here as well. And some of the book club streams I did, and also the keynotes, and of course all the other channels that I support as well. And keep in mind also to go ahead and make sure you support and subscribe my wife's channel, Green Recipes for All. She's always doing some amazing recipes. We're both vegetarians for years now, and so please support the channel and also check out some of the nice food that is here. It's very good food. Of course, I'm biased because I like the food and I like my wife, and so yeah, go in and support that as well. So another little piece of housekeeping, and apologies, this is the first stream, so it's always going to be a bit more housekeeping than the other ones. So I do apologize if you are a bit upset of too many links and too many things, but this is the first time. I just wanted to let you know that I've been using OmniScope for a long time, and I just wanted to let you know that the nice fellows at OmniScope have given a discount for us to use. So if you're interested on these amazing scope software, you can get a 50% discount on their products. Now, OmniScope is amazing. I've been using it for years. In fact, I'll show it during the streams because I always have it on my screen here. It's usually on my vertical screen, so it's like here. So you usually have it. You can't see it now because I need to set up a camera just for that, but that's the OmniScope there, you see. That's what I've been using for many years now to do all my scopes. So yeah, if you're interested, it's a really good piece of software. I basically use this one, OmniScope, and it has it has everything you need really to control the color that you need in your shots. It has also support for both Blackmagic and DaVinci. It has support for video output, support for audio, for false color, vector scope, waveform. You have source signal histogram as well. It's really powerful. Seriously, I'm not paid by them. I just wanted to let you know, I'm not being paid by them. They were just very kind to give me a discount to share with my community. They are amazing. I've been using them for years. They have not paid me to do this, but you should definitely check them out. It's a really good software, and yeah, like you get a 15% discount, which is good. So I think that's the last of the housekeeping that I wanted to go through today. I think so. Yeah, and so a little introduction before we go into the stuff that I want to show today. So if you go to my website, hugoguerra.com, you'll see that I have quite a lot of productions. And the reason I wanted to return to the deconstructions is because I have all these files from these shots, and I kind of figured I really need to do something with them. You know, I feel like I should really like showcase more of the comps, go through them, maybe even have a Q&A with everyone. I think that would be very beneficial, and I think most people would appreciate that. So obviously the Cinecraft scenario trailer that I directed and I comped and did the VFX with my team, with both Martin and Bjorn, that I'm not going to showcase yet. I'm doing that at FMX this year, so I'll be at FMX and I'll be showing it there. And then once we're done with FMX in Germany, we will for sure do a stream with that shot. The Adobe Creative Cloud projects, unfortunately, I don't have the files. I was on set, so unfortunately I can't do that one. But I do have all the files from Sniper Elite 5, which we've done already a workshop. Vermintide already did some shots. Far Cry did a shot already on the deconstructions. These I have the files, but they're a bit simple, but maybe we'll go through them really quickly. And then I have Heroes Arena, which I have never really deconstructed and showcased every shot. The Walking Dead, which I've never really did that either. And then as you go down here, it starts to become a bit old. You know, like, of course, The Crew is also probably worth going through some of the shots. Homefront, where I already did all of that. I'm not doing that one again. Just Cause 3, I did one of them already. And I think maybe there's worth me doing a few shots from Len in Slow Motion, maybe a few shots from Adidas, maybe a few shots from Sif, maybe a few shots from BBC God Only Knows. That's my plan. And then maybe just for the kick of it and the fun of it, maybe I should do a couple of shots from D-Love as well. So that's the whole plan with me. Like, I'm going through the projects because I have all the source files and all the composites, all the scripts, and I have all the renders, the EXRs, the footage, the plates, the grades. I have every single file for all these projects that you see here on my website. So I kind of figured it could be cool to go through some of them, and hopefully people can learn a bit about how we do things in production. Obviously, this is going to be a deconstruction / workshop, because sometimes I'm showing you something and then I need to show you how it was done. So then sometimes there will be a bit of a workshop involved. So that's my idea, doing this every month, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. And maybe the next time, I haven't done this for this time. So the shots I prepared for today, or a few shots from Heroes Arena, and I'll open in a second. And then I think next I'll go to Walking Dead. And then after that, I will go to Zeiss as well. Maybe I need to do a voting system so that people can vote what shots they would like to see. But yeah, the whole point is to keep questions coming. You can always ask whatever you want as I go through it. I'll try to keep the Q&A to a minimum so that people don't feel like I'm always answering questions. So we'll do it like maybe every 20 minutes. We'll go through a few questions. So if I don't see your question right away, keep in mind that I will read them back. I will go through them back. So yeah, so I have Best here asking what type of workshop. So yeah, so basically the type of workshop is we're going to open the real production shot, go through it, and I hopefully want to explain some of the challenges and some of the problems and also how we solve certain things. And because troubleshooting is really what we do, that's really it. Yeah. So let's just get started, really. So before we even do anything, I'm going to just show you the trailer. I'm sure many of you have seen it already, but for those of you that haven't seen it, then this is your chance to see it again. So this is some of the shots we're going to open today are from this trailer. Now, keep in mind this cinematic, which I directed and supervised.
It's a bit old, you know, it's like from 2018. Doesn't really matter that it is old, you know, just imagine that it would be in 4K today and it would be looking better in terms of rendering, but the pipeline is still the same, the way we comp CG is still the same, the way we run the 3D system is still the same, the way we do depth of field is still the same. Nothing has changed that much in that sense. So yeah, let's look at the full cinematic first, and then I'll open a couple of shots and go through what I wanted to show you. So okay, so let's watch it. Now this game is long gone. It's not even available anymore, I believe. But it doesn't really matter. I just wanted to show you a couple of things. Now like I said, I'm gonna jump into some shots today about this project, and I think next time I'm gonna go for The Walking Dead, and the next time I'll go for the Zeiss, and I'll just go. I think I'm gonna do a voting next time. So, but I just wanted to do a bit of a credit scene here. So this project was done with a relatively short team. So I basically directed it with Will O'Connor. CG supervisor was Juan Pablo Brockhaus. And then we had some modeling from Martin in Noise Artillery. And then we have some rigging from Jacob and character animation from Jacob, Marcus, and Wells. Air setup for Timo, and then shader, lighting, and texturing from Nando, and then additional shading from Joshua. And then effects from Giant Milk Can, water from Florian, and then me, Bjorn, and Kurti did the compositing. Matte painting was David Gibbons. And then pipeline development, Elgay, Juan Pablo Brockhaus, and yeah, and it was we basically used Maya, Houdini, Nuke, Redshift, Substance Painter, Designer, and ZBrush. And this was from 2018, and so this was all done remotely, so we did the whole thing remotely. I've talked a few times about this project already in the past, so I'm not going to go through that. And there's also like an FMX talk about it, so you can go and check that out. And so in terms of breakdowns, like these shots are quite straightforward, and they were all kind of done with with a typical AOV based pipeline. No depth was used for this. These shots were basically done on a traditional way of rendering and lighting, and then composited them in 2D, although we use a lot of the 3D system in Nuke. They don't look amazing these days for today's standard, but also don't forget that this was what the client wanted, and we answered the specification. The biggest request, really, from client point of view, was that they wanted it to look like a game, like a video game. So they wanted it not to deviate too much from it looking like a cinematic. Obviously, we could have done it with an engine. I'm sure this could be done in Unreal. but it couldn't really be done in Unreal at the time. In 2018, you couldn't really do this in Unreal. You could probably do it now, although you probably have some problems with depth of field. I think motion blur also you will have some issues. Also, some of the treatment and glowing and color correction, you might have some issues in DaVinci anyway. In Unreal. Just wanted to quickly just answer someone in the chat here said, when are you going to add more classes to your course? So I have a bunch of classes that I've mid-recorded. Been a bit too busy, but I am adding a lot of classes soon. This year will be a very big revamp to my course. I'm updating almost every class, and I basically just want to revamp a lot of them with the latest nodes of Nuke. So during the entire year, there will be quite a lot of updates on the course. And Francesco does have a point. This is kind of like a class, I guess. But it isn't really. This is a free thing that I'm doing on YouTube, of course. Okay, cool. So yeah, if you have any questions, just please ask on the chat. And I hope this is gonna, like, I also want to know what you all think, like I hope this is something that will help you, and I hope that for those of you learning Nuke and for those of you using Nuke Compositing, that you can probably take something out of it, and so do give me feedback if you think this is worth going through these shots, if it's still worth going through them even now, if you still think you're going to be able to get something out of it. So just please do let me know if you are happy for me to continue. Yeah, see, I want to see some that are full sets replacement. Yeah, the full replacement set, we basically did that on Zeiss. Is there anything else that you definitely do that you wish would be back? Well, I wish I did a lot of things different that I don't do now. The one you're talking about full set replacement, I would really say that would be this project. That's the one that probably has the most. I'm gonna have to watch a commercial on my own channel. Of course I am, because that's how it works now. So this commercial, I'm going to start by do a keynote, because this is really responding to what you're saying, Nub, about set replacement. This I'm going to start by showing it at FMX as a behind-the-scenes making-off, and then on the stream here, on this monthly stream of the deconstructions, I want to really deconstruct all the visual effects of all these shots. But I won't do that before I do FMX, because I want to make sure FMX is done before and people see behind-the-scenes. And then, once the behind-the-scenes are out, I can then, showcase. Mostly I'm planning to do this shot here. So that's the shot that I want mostly to deconstruct with all of you, and talking about how we did it and what you did and what happened here. So this is probably the biggest shot of the production. But yeah, anyway, that's not what we're doing today. So now, I showed you the breakdown already. And I would say that I wanted to share with you something, because someone told me something that was really cool a couple of weeks ago. When I first said that I was going to do these deconstructions, that I was going to come back to them, there was a person called Lucas Fabian, and he made an excellent suggestion. He actually suggested to me, he actually said, I'm going to have the quote here from him. So Lucas said, and I quote, where is his quote here? I've lost this quote now. Where is it? I can't forget. Well, I think I have the quote somewhere else. But Lucas Fabian said something that was really cool. He told me, like, why don't you show the versions of all the shots and the evolution of the shots through time? And I thought that was a terrific idea. And I do have that here for me to show you. So I'm going to start with, I've prepared a couple of shots to show today. I'm going to start with a simple one. I'm going to start with a really simple one, which is this one. This is the first shot of the trailer. This is ungraded. It's not really graded. But I just wanted to give you an idea of how something like this is done, and how
we achieve this, including with client feedback and everything. So this is the final version, ungraded. This is version 21. A lot of people probably don't realize that we do a lot of versions when we do something like this. So if you look at this shot, for example, you see that we started with this version. This is version 1, which is basically just blocking, really literally just blocking, just layout. We then had like an update for the matte painting. Then we had like the water finally came in a bit later on version 3. Then we started doing a pre-render with no reflections on the water. This was the fourth version. And then we had the version 5, which is one of the first ones that we did with the water reflections and also the water moving. We then just started evolving and getting a lot of feedback from client, going through different versions, different colors, how many windows, how much fog would come into the shot. We then went through versions where we had no fog but more reflections on the water. So that's with fog, that's with just reflections. We mixing both and get a bit of movement into the clouds, more reflections, and then more toning down and more color correction. We ended up like toning down the reflections from client's point of view, and then we ended up like moving the clouds as well to get it a bit more movement into it. We then ended up getting a client comment, which was to zoom in a bit, so we then started doing a fake movement, and then yeah, this is a good question. Studio Divis is asking, Hugo, any project made by an LED wall? Yeah, so the Zeiss commercial is done on an LED wall. In fact, all these shots are on an LED wall, all of them on the beginning. It's quite a lot of shots with LED walls on this production. There's another one here more at the end. This one is also an LED wall as well, with an environment in Unreal. So this is the first time I directed and supervised something with an LED screen. This was shot in Munich, in Germany, and it was shot at Hyperbole, which is a really good studio in Munich. Going back to this, so basically that's the last version. So I just wanted to show this because just a simple shot like this has 21 versions. And the way we kind of like went around trying to build this was with a very close relationship with the client. So here you can also see something else what I wanted to show you, which is like these are every time we've sent something to the client. So during this production, we worked on this production for 3 months. We've sent to the client 13 times something. Usually either an edit, a storyboard, or maybe perhaps, you know, we sent them some references. So before I even open up the Nuke shot, I just wanted to go through a few things here. And you probably know this from me. This is the first time we sent something to them. And this is something I've been doing for years. I don't usually, I think I've talked about this on a few of my streams already. I don't usually send emails to clients, you know, like I do. I mean, of course I do send emails to clients. Sorry, let me begin this. I send emails to clients, but I do prefer when I want to explain something to a client, I prefer to send them imagery. And so this is what I call the presentation prepared for the client. And so this is the first one. This is when we were bidding for the project. So this is bidding on the project, and we were basically presenting it to the client. I won't show you the entire 10 minutes, but I'll show you a little bit of it. And this is basically me doing a keynote presentation. Fire.smoke was the company I was working for. And this is a keynote presentation of our bid to win the job. So we basically told them what we wanted to do to the job, and then we after this agreed on what to do it. And so I'm going to just play it a little bit for you to hear it and to see what I have and what I'm talking about. So this was sent, this is the first thing I sent to the client when we first started the project. Hello everyone, and welcome to this Fire.smoke presentation for Hugo for the 90-second trailer. So I'll try to keep this as brief as possible, but the main reason why we decided to make this keynote was to basically introduce you to the project and give you a couple of the ideas and concepts and references that we're thinking of in regards to the look and field of the script that you saw. So in terms of references, of course, we know that your main reference was Twist of Fate from League of Legends. So of course we're taking that into a lot of consideration, especially the way they fight and especially the way the animation is highly stylized and the camera work is quite brutal and quite cinematic. So we're taking all that into this trailer, of course. I'm going to start with the biggest part. The main environment of this trailer is set on an old harbor. We decided to make a harbor because, and especially at nighttime, because it gives us the opportunity to make a very high detailed environment that could have beautiful landscapes on the background with some matte paintings, a bit of rain at the end, and even a moonlight effect, giving some nice rim lights into the harbor. The reason I put these images here from Uncharted for the mountains in the Virgin Islands is basically because this could...
Okay, so I guess you get the picture. So basically I go through, this is very common that I do this with my clients. I send them references, send them what I have in mind. Of course, sometimes I put in the references from them. This is a really important step for a project for me, both as a director or as a supervisor, so that everyone is on board. And I usually share these with the entire team. And so basically, you get some boards, some references of the lightning, of how we're thinking about doing some of the rain, like we go through this entire thing. And also we have more references of how
concept of
they are going to go up. For example, there's a shot that is very similar to this shot, for example, because the client requested for that shot. And we ended up then also having an ending that has a lot of rain. So the client talked to us about having a lot of rain. And so, of course, it's much more interesting to talk about rain from the Matrix. I'm going to put this a bit later.
They're about to start fighting. We cut to black. So that would be the dramatic ending with all the rain. A bit similar to this Neo versus Mr. Smith.
Yeah, so, and then, we get more, there's quite a lot, I'm going to just scrub through it a little bit here. Some fight sequences that we were inspired, some sequence. So this is, I'm going to just, and then of course some of the wide shots as well that we had on the trailer. We were heavily inspired for some YouTube videos as well. And so, yeah, so this is like a 10-minute long video of me giving them, okay, this is what we have in mind. This is what we want. This is what we want to do and what we are interested. And so, as I said, we did quite a few of these. And I'm going to open the next one. So this was the first one. So then we moved on to the second one. I'm going to just move it up here. So the second one, I believe the second one wasn't very different. I'm just going to scrub through. It's been a while since I looked at it. Yeah, so this is when the client sent us... So once we got approved, we then got some drawings from the client of how they want this. So this was one of the characters, and then we got some references for that, and then we got some references for this character as well, and got some notes for that, and basically we just started really working. And I'm gonna just scrub through this real quickly. We talked about armor. I'm gonna actually put this going a little bit.
Little piece of metal. We can put some kind of
apologies, the sound is so
shapes.
low.
We can put some kind of drawings. We can put all these kind of things, which kind of will really intensify the detail on the weapon. And I know these are not on the original design of the character, but because we're going to be so close with the camera moves, I think we need to introduce extra stuff, abstract shapes.
Yeah, I guess you see what I mean. So then from there, we are kind of starting to do the job, and then we kind of
okay,
here's the storyboard. So basically we sent them a storyboard, worked with an amazing artist, which, my memory fails me now. I'm not entirely sure I can remember his name now. Apologies for that. I am getting old, so sometimes I forget names. But that's why I have a website, so that I can go to names and check everything else there. I think his name is here. So Or maybe I forgot. Maybe I did forget. Matte painting. Okay, so the storyboard is not. So yeah, that reminds me that I need to update this because I forgot to put his name. I think it was called Jack something. I can't remember his name, his last name. But apologies, Jack, for not remembering your second name. I don't think your name is here on the boards. No, it isn't. But this was basically us getting the boards going, and basically, we then. Oh, I can't. Move to another page. Okay, here you go. So really cool boards. This was where we started blocking everything. We started kind of like blocking how the shots would look. Reason I'm showing, man, I hope you're not being bored by this because I'll get to the Nuke script. Don't worry. These are deconstructions, and so I guess in my view, for me to deconstruct something, I need to like show you where it began. I hope you understand that, and I hope you're happy to see that. I hope so. But do let me know if you're bored, and I can move on. So we basically then structured the whole thing. This was like, of course, what we hoped the project would look like. Of course, then reality sets in, and you kind of are told that you can't do that shot, and you can't do this shot, and you can't do this one because it's too expensive, and this and that, and it's always a bit of a shame. So we did what we call the boardomatic. I don't even know if that name exists. A boardomatic is where we put the boards and just do it's like an animatic, but then with boards. I guess that's the best way to describe it. So let's look at that. Yeah, so basically just moving I thought it had sound, sorry, that's why it was so quiet. So basically just going through all the shots, how many seconds it would be. It's very close to what we ended up doing, but then this gives you kind of an idea of how long the trailer will be. So, cool. Some people here on the chat are saying that this is interesting. I'm glad that they think it's interesting. And again, thank you so much for being here. And don't forget that we will have a giveaway. Foundry is giving a Nuke Indie license 1 year at the end of the stream. So I'm going to do that at the end of the stream. Be sure to support the amazing Foundry, which are the sponsors of this stream. Yeah, I guess that's really it. So I'm going to close this because it doesn't matter. And then with that, I like to talk, you know that, because I'm Portuguese, so I talk a lot. So I like to talk, and so of course I did a keynote presentation again, just so the client knew what we were talking about. And so again, another 10-12 minute keynote of me presenting the board, because again, like I said, never just send an email, send something audio-visual, send them a keynote, a presentation, a video. It doesn't take that long to do, and then they really appreciate it, man. People love this. I've won jobs because I've sent videos like this. Actually, famously, I won the Vermintide trailer because we sent one of these keynotes, and they loved it. They thought it was terrific. Instead of sending a PDF with like some boards, Just let's have a listen at this one. This is Keynote version 3.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this presentation from Fire Without Smoke. Today I have the storyboard to present to you, and so I'm going to go through the boards one at a time so I can show you some of the ideas that we have. Together with this keynote, of course, you'll be supplied with a PDF of the storyboard and also a very simple boardomatic video with the boards, just so you have a feeling of the actual boards coming to life on an edit. So let's just get started. So we start with a very stormy environment. We basically start with the clouds. We can kind of see that there is a storm growing. And as we look through that, we can see some hills, and we can see...
I'm going to scrub a little bit.
Green fire attack. That's on frame 40. A big moon on the Sergio Leone's Western Spaghetti with Clint Eastwood.
So yeah, you get the picture. I explained the whole thing step by step. And then after that, of course,
a couple of more weeks pass through, and then we send, I believe this is the update for the modeling. So we started modeling, and then of course we explain how the modeling is going. And again, client really appreciates this, so that you're explaining to them how the modeling is coming along, and then you're showing it right away, even before doing comping on anything, so that they can make choices now.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another Fire Without Smoke presentation prepared for Hugo. Today we're going to talk exclusively about the modeling progress. So let's start talking about character by character. I want to show you a bit of the inspirations that went into each character, and of course, ultimately we want to show you the progress of how the models are happening just before they go into rigging. We're going to start with Alvin. So Alvin was, of course, as you can see from the concept art,
I'm going to scroll a bit through it so that you get the picture.
Design originally from your drawing, but it has a much more cinematic and much more realistic proportion that will
Gonna like keep going, and then we actually ended up doing a turntable as well.
And here's a turntable. The turntable is always a very good way for you to see the model as a 360 rotating around. And in this case, you can also see that work has started on the shield as well, and the final sword as well. So this is
yeah. And so I know some of this stuff is quite normal for most of you, but a lot of people from these clients and marketing people and
you have on your
people that work in these companies, sometimes they might not know, like I've noticed that sometimes clients don't know how something is done. They don't really understand, why is it gray? Where's the color? Why is it not looking as it should? So you need to kind of explain, because if you just send something like this, they might like, oh, that looks a bit shit, and they're going to be reacting a bit badly to it. So keep that in mind. And so, yeah, and again, this was one of those keynotes. So I'm going to just keep going a little bit here more. We then ended up doing, I think this was the final keynote for the modeling. Yes, so this is where we started doing the faces. We had like
a turntable
for this little dude here as well. And I think we had a turntable. I think now we have a turntable for all the characters. And the swords and everything. Then we moved on and had a reference. So there was a big discussion of how the fights would happen. So with the client. And so I sent like some references of how I think the fights would work.
Hello everyone, welcome to this presentation for Hugo. This is going to be a video to talk a bit about the editorial and the camera work that we should try to implement to this trailer. So in the very beginning we discussed a lot, and we even made a keynote to the client talking about the GoPro camera angles, but we also on the other hand had always this vision of having a very classical camera work and classical style on the moments between the GoPro action scenes. I think we are a bit far from that at the moment. I think the trailer is looking a bit too much like a Blur Studio trailer, and I think we all agree that we want to do something different. We want to do something that would stand out among the crowd of cinematic trailers. So with this in mind, I think it's much better than trying to explain by email, so I made this little video just to go through certain shots and certain films that I think could be great inspiration for certain shots in between the GoPro. So let's just get started. So first off, I want to talk about full body angles. So one of the...
You get the picture. So basically going through specific types of angles, specific face-offs, specific inspirations of everything that would happen through the shots, and some shots that never existed. So some of these shots didn't actually happen. So okay, so let's then move on. Then at some point, finally, we started having some CG. So this is the first time we have an actual animatic, and this is like most of it's concept art. Some of it, as you saw there in the beginning, done from David Gibbons. Like we have some paintings and some concept art done by him. And then we start to have the first animations. They're really junky, really janky, really bad. And I guess I had to do a keynote as well to explain this, because if you are someone that doesn't know anything about visual effects, you're going to be very worried when you get this. You're going to be like, what
the hell is that? And so I sent him this. It's funny, this question from Julian is saying, I do boards for my clients, but this is another level. Yeah. Yeah, Julian, try this. Try to send like a more detailed presentation. I'm sure they're going to enjoy it. And John asks, why did you send them in that order? I guess this was like a conversation ongoing, you know, like if you look at the dates, it's like almost every month. We started in October, November, then we went to January, February, March, and April. So it was quite a quick turnaround, you know. Of course, I did do a keynote to explain the render. And so I'm going to just like show you a little bit of what I said there.
Hello everyone, welcome to another presentation from Fire.Smoke prepared for Hugo. Today we're going to mainly talk about the first animatics for the trailer. We have quite a lot to talk about, so I'm going to try to make this keynote as short as possible. So we are going to talk about the latest shading and rendering of models. Also going to talk about the concepts for some of the environments. We're going to talk about some of the references.
I just wanted to step there and just like say, as you probably noticed, I have a... this is like a Zoom call, I guess. You're right. I even have like a list of what we're gonna do to go through the call. I don't remember this. I actually didn't remember this before. This is quite nerdy that I have actually made a list of what we were gonna talk about.
The editorial and the edit. I'm gonna show you the latest animatic and also some music references. So without further ado, let's just get going. Starting with the latest shading and rendering of models. Let's start with Alvin. As you can see, there is a substantial bump on quality of both the texturing, the shading, and the rendering, especially.
I hope it's better. I'm going to continue here and showing the other character. I'm going to just scroll through it and show. So this is a really important stage because this is when I'm talking to the client about the environments.
These are some of the concepts, some matte paintings that we are creating. Now, keep in mind that these are not the final matte paintings. This is just to give us a feel and kind of a direction for the look and feel of the matte paintings and the environments in general. So this is, of course, the first version of it. We have done a version with a bit more fog and especially a few more elements in houses and lights as well. But this is just to give you an idea. We also have done with a substantial moon as well. We also have started to kind of think about how would it look, the area where they're going to fight, still keeping in mind all these hills on the back and also a substantial amount of housing around the market area where they're going to do the main fight. So this is, for example, where the boat comes in, and this would be the area of fighting where you have surroundings with market stuff. Again, these are just concepts. They're not the final product. It's just so everyone in the team has an idea of what we're trying to achieve.
Notice how I keep saying, this is not the final, this is not the final. I know it's really boring, like, this is not the final, this is not the final. I say this all the time, just so that they fully understand, oh, it's not the final, so that they know that. Okay, so I'll go through this, talk about some angles, and then I basically go through the animatic and really explain what's going on.
Shot of them sitting next to each other, looking at each other. We then have the hero poses. These hero poses are the moments where they kind of show their weapons and there's a bit of a calm before the storm. And then they start fighting. Then we start...
No, John, no. These are already with me with the project. The first one I showed, the first keynote, and you can always go back on the VOD. The first keynote I presented was the one before we got the job confirmed, and then so we did an effort of making a keynote and presenting that all to the client, and then we got the job, and then subsequently every time I communicate with the client, I always do a keynote presentation. So I think that's the way to go. Like for me personally, I always do this on every project I am involved on, and if I can't do this, if I am not allowed to do a keynote presentation, then what I do is I do a Zoom call and I have slides and it becomes almost like this, really. So yes, I'm gonna scroll through here. In fact, in here I did a very quick and dirty edit where I show the references next to the video that we're trying to do.
Yeah, so I think it's a bit later. I think it's here or something. Yeah, I put like on the corner. Okay, so let's just move on so that we can keep going. Yeah, and then I guess, more animatics, very junky animation. Of course, this is really, really early stuff that we did. Again, always accompanying that with basically like a keynote presentation. We've sent them some first renders and just showing them some lighting, and also some effects tests, showing them. The client had a very specific request of having the sword with some magic elements, and so we had to do that. Also the fireball as well, we did a lot of tests for that, just to show them how that would work. And I think that's the edit. I believe that's the edit. It's been a while since I've seen this. We have a cape as well. We got a cape from the client. And then I think the next keynote I did was here, because in here we now have the latest animation. Yeah, so that's another thing. There was a phase there on the project, right at the end of the project, where we had an animatic that was basically done with shading. So, and then we had a comp also one. The reason we did that was because we wanted to make sure the client was reacting to animation as fast as possible, but also seeing comps. So we were sharing latest animation on grayscale and then sharing last comps on color. But of course, the comps didn't have the latest animation. And so this was a good way to showcase to the client progress on a faster way, So, for example, this would be the representation of it. So this is not the latest animation, but it's the latest rendering. And this is the latest rendering, that. So, yeah. So Abby is asking here, where can I register to end the Nuke course? So I'm not giving away a Nuke course today, unless maybe I should do that. I always do that I'll do that at the end. But the first giveaway of the day will be done by the Foundry, which is a giveaway that gives you like a Nuke Indie license for 1 year. So that's the first giveaway we'll do. Yeah, I need to do the giveaway for the course. I don't have the link yet, so I need to do that. But also don't forget that my course is currently 50% off. I even did like a lovely. I need to show you this because I haven't promoted this. Apologies for the interruption, but hey, of course there's interruption. This is my stream. It's a garbage truck on fire. So just wanted to show you this real quick here. Before I move on. Yeah. So I haven't published this online yet, but I do have a 50% discount now for Valentine's Day. This discount is actually available until Sunday, I believe. I think it's Sunday. I believe so. I believe it's until Sunday. I need to go and check. I'll get back to you about that. But yeah, so that's, if you are interested in my course, it is 50% off. Both my courses are 50% off today as a Valentine's gift, I guess. Okay, going back to this, I'll leave this open here because we are probably going to talk about this again. Okay, so... yeah, and then we also did side by side. We even double down so that the client will really understand that first renders are on the left side, animation only is on the right side. So this was a great way to be faster showcasing animation. Obviously, these days with Unreal and real-time engines, I would definitely do the animation preview in Unreal most likely, and then switch to either a hybrid of Unreal and Redshift, probably. So yeah, that's really it. Now, let's and then of course, last but not least, I of course can't shut up, so I did another keynote. Hello and welcome to this presentation from Fire.Smoke. Today I bring you a really short keynote. I just wanted to show you a couple of the things that we've been doing. As you saw, I gave you 3 files. One of them is the one we are watching at the moment. That is the full edit with all the renders. This means it has all the latest renders and some first composites. This is all very early stage. None of the lighting is finished. None of the compositing is finished.
And as I say, like as I keep saying and repeating, I constantly lower the expectation to the client so that they understand that this is not done, this is not finished, there's nothing finished here, just so that they see the progress. The cool thing about all of this, and that's why I wanted to do this, go back to these series of deconstructions, is because we had very little feedback from the client. Because I think when you are very clear and very confident and show it every single thing to the client, they kind of like take it for granted that you know what you're doing. I've noticed that when we send these keynotes and send them all these links and all these shots, the client sends very little feedback, and sometimes they only send some feedback and a specific few things. And that's really because you're explaining it so well, and you are explaining it step by step, and to such a degree that there is really no misunderstanding, because there's no email that might be misunderstood or something that was not talked about. I would say that this is like you have a record of what happened. There's like a record, you know exactly what's going to happen. That's it, really. But yeah, okay. We're almost done. I'm not going to really show you much more. So the rest of the keynotes are pretty much the same thing. I believe this keynote here is closer to the end now. So we are basically going through the renders, going through the comps. I believe this is all... Yeah, we talked about the shading of the skin. We talked about some of the buildings as well. We go through some of the first tests of effects as well. And I think that's pretty much done. We do have... Let me just double check here. Yeah, we only have 2 more deliveries. Then we have this delivery here. I think this is we're almost done with the project now. Just see what I say.
Hello and welcome to this presentation from Fire.Smoke prepared for Hugo. Today we are going to talk about the latest edit, which is version 105. Together with this keynote, I will also include the latest edit, which has every single latest render and every single latest compositing. Now let's get on with it, because it's a lot to update and we've progressed quite a lot since you last saw the edit. So let's just start right away. So first of all, as you can see on the edit, we have now finished rendering on every single shot, and we are now completely focusing on compositing and also balancing every single shot. So one of the things that you notice on this edit is that the shots between themselves are not balanced. A lot of the layers are not balanced, a lot of the elements are not balanced. So that's what we are now doing in compositing, making sure every single layer, from all the characters, the skies, the particles, the fires, every single thing kind of merges.
Yeah, and I guess you get the picture. We also talk about shots that are not done yet.
One on one side is not really finished yet, so keep that in mind. This is one of the shots that improved mostly, because last time you saw it, there was no water simulations yet, and now we have a full water simulation, a full destruction of the harbor, and a lot of the water elements and also props on the foreground. Now, in terms of the shots, of course, the first...
Yeah, I'm going to stop there. So yeah, you were asking, yeah, there's version 105. Yeah, we have 105 because we did a lot of versions of the edit. The edit changed quite a lot over the tweaks and us also we tweaking it. And then I guess that's it. Then we delivered. That was it. Like, we delivered the project, and you saw the project already. I hope this was beneficial, and I hope you've enjoyed this. We can open the scripts now, the Nuke scripts, and I just want to go through it. Now, we might not have time to go through everything today, but don't worry, we're doing this every month. I might even do it every 2 weeks. We'll see how it goes, and I'll also see what you all think. You know, if you all really enjoy these kind of streams,
I am very happy to do it every 2 weeks. So you let me know. You let me know in the chat if you're enjoying it. And I have a hard cut today. I need to stop at 7. So we are going to stop at 7. So we'll see how we go until 7 o'clock. The reason I have a hard cut is because at 7 o'clock today, the Oscars are going to showcase the nominations for the behind the scenes for all the nominations. And I want to see that live. It's a stream. And also, it's very important for me for the Visual Effects Notes podcast that I'm doing with Ian Files, because we are covering all the films, every single one of them on the podcast. And we still have Godzilla and The Creator to go. We've done 3 episodes already with the other Napoleon, Mission Impossible, and Guardians of the Galaxy. And so I need to see that stream. So I have a hard cut out at 7. But yeah, I guess people like the stream, at least some people. It's great to see this, Hugo. Thanks for sharing. Can't wait for Julian, me too. I can't wait for the Oscar presentation. It's going to be at 7. So I believe it's at 7. That's the hard cut. I believe it's at 7. Let's have a look. I think it is. Let's see here. I think it is at 7. Oscar. So the announcements would be live. It's upcoming. I saw it just the other day. Am I wrong? Home. I thought we were gonna. I think it was today. Wasn't it today? Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was today because they're doing it during the day. Sign language luncheon announcements. Okay, maybe I'm wrong, but I know I thought it was today. Isn't it today? Maybe I'm wrong. Let me just see here. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe I'm wrong here. I thought it was today. Am I crazy? Oh man, come on. I must be crazy. I think it's streamed on YouTube. Yeah, it should be on my YouTube. It should be on my. Oh, look at that! I reached 10K. Finally, I reached 10K. I can't believe it. Just today was 9K, so I finally reached 10,000 followers on Twitter. This is awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for the amazing support. This is amazing to reach 10K. Can't believe it. I think it's here somewhere. At least I posted it. Where is it? Oh, here you go. So yeah, it is. I think it is today. Let me see here. Hopefully, gives me like a link. Come on, go for it. Yeah, 50 minutes. Yeah. So we have a hard cut here because I really want to go and see this. So we will cut there. So we'll do a break now, and we will be back in 10 minutes, and then we'll open the script and see what we can open until 7, do the giveaway, and then get the hell out of here to watch this. Okay, so I'll be right back. Give me 10 minutes. Stretch your legs. Make sure you drink some water, rest your eyes, and I'll be right back with the giveaway, some Nuke compositing, some more behind the scenes, and yeah, I guess that's it. So, oh, I forgot to open. Now I have to entertain you for another minute because I have to open DaVinci for the break to open. I closed DaVinci by mistake, and I shouldn't have closed it. And now it's taking forever to open, of course, because it always does take forever to open. Oh my God, this is like now really silly, but I'm just waiting. But yeah, keep the questions coming as well. Don't worry. We'll get to them as fast as I can. Oh, it's taking forever to open now. Okay. Why is it taking so long now to open? Oh my God. Okay. Just want to do a break and then it's not opening. I shouldn't have closed it. That's what I shouldn't have done. I shouldn't have never closed it. Why did I close it? DaVinci takes forever to open. So don't worry, I'll go back to the questions in a second. I'll share the link in the Oscar in a minute. Okay, so I'm gonna do the break here. Okay, so as I said, don't go anywhere. Drink some water. I'll be right back in 10 minutes, okay? I'll see you in 10 minutes. Okay, we are back. Thank you so much for still being here. And I'm really glad to see we've already had like 350 people watching, so thank you so much for that. Again, welcome back. This is the Valentine's Day live stream that we're doing today. We do have a few gifts. I already posted them on the chat. We are giving away a Nuke indie license for 1 year, sponsored by the Foundry, as you can see here. Here's the Foundry. Like, sponsored by the Foundry. So we're giving that away. We're giving away Nuke indie license, and then also I'm giving away one Nuke course as well at the end of the stream. We're gonna finish the stream as a hard cut at 7. Usually I go on longer, but remember there is the stream that I want to watch with the Oscars for the visual effects nominations, because this is the first time ever we're gonna see some breakdowns for Mission Impossible that never came out, and also we're going to see breakdowns for The Creator, which are not out yet, and also breakdowns for Godzilla, because none of those breakdowns have came out. And this is the cool thing about the Oscars, is that they kind of force the studio, the film studios, to release these breakdowns, which is great. So we are a bit behind schedule, so we spent quite a long time me showing you the client side of things and how we got shots approved and everything. Do apologize that it took a bit of time to get to the Nuke scripts. So we're probably going to have maybe 20 minutes to go through it. I promise we'll continue the next stream. Remember, these streams are going to be very often. Right now I'm doing them every month, the deconstruction streams, but I'm considering doing them every 2 weeks, because I have so much to go through, you know. I have so much to do and to show from all these projects. And so if you haven't seen it, please go back to the beginning of the stream and then you can start over again. But yeah, let's just open Nuke and then go through some of these shots in detail with you. So I'm going to start with the simple one that I was showing you in the beginning. And let's do that. I need to like make sure I have a timer so that I don't forget that we have to do this. We have to be ready for the stream of the. So I need to like give a timer for like maybe 10 minutes before the stream so that we have time to do the giveaways. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna just open Nuke. I'm gonna share my screen. So here's Nuke. This is, for this specific shot that I'm going to open now, I'm running Nuke 12. The reason I'm running Nuke 12 is because this shot does not open on Nuke 15. I don't know why. And I appreciate that this is sponsored by Foundry, this stream, but I can't, don't really exactly know why it's not running. And so I think it's because it's very old. I think that's the problem, really. To be honest, I'm gonna go. Gonna go and open shot 20. So this is shot 20, so that I can start showing you how these. So some of these shots I'm gonna open in Nuke 15. I'm gonna get all sorts of errors because, of course, QuickTime is now not been is not being used by Nuke anymore, so I do have a couple of problems here. Oh, I've opened the wrong one. Sorry, that's 50. See, this is the problem. QuickTime is giving some heartache, so I'm gonna do this here. So if you just give me a second, I'm gonna just open Nuke again because it kind of crashed on me. Sorry about that. Crashed on me. I know why. Not because of Nuke, because I have QuickTimes on that script, and that's why I need to run it. I need to run them. Let's see here. So yeah, one thing also I forgot was to I was given, Foundry gave me like this really nice video to promote today, and I forgot to play it on the beginning, so I'm so sorry, Foundry. I am so sorry, but I'm gonna play it now. Okay, I'll play it now, and then you'll pretend that you watched it on the beginning of the stream. Okay.
Foundry's Nuke is the industry standard tool for compositing in the film and TV industry. We've produced and curated all the essential resources for learning Nuke and preparing you for the profession, as well as recommendations for other training resources. You'll learn compositing fundamentals, rotoscoping, keying, tracking objects, color management, 3D compositing, and much more. Our objective is to empower artists with all the knowledge they need to push their skills to the next level. Jump in and start learning today.
Okay, so thanks so much, Foundry, for sponsoring this stream, and I'm so sorry that I didn't show this before. Apologies for that. So I am so sorry about that. Okay, so this is Nuke 12 now. Then that should now open the script because of the QuickTime thing. So don't worry if someone is late to the stream. Don't worry, you can always watch this again. So yeah, so I'm gonna start with this shot. Don't worry, we're not gonna go through all the shots. I had planned to open 5 shots today. Probably only gonna open 1, but we'll do it next time. We'll do it in 2 weeks. Don't worry. So the shot that we have here is this one. Now, keep in mind this is not graded, so minus the grade. So this is like the version ungraded. Also, the LUT is not the original LUT I had at the time because it's been a long time since we did this shot, so it's not really the same shot anymore. I'll be honest. So keep that in mind. But yeah, but it's pretty much the same shot, roughly, give or take. I'm gonna put it on a video out here so that we can see it on the monitor out as well. So I have the monitor out here. So that's the monitor out. So this is the Blackmagic out that I have on my stream. So yeah, so that's the shot. Now you're watching the shot in Rexon 09, which is what's supposed to happen when the client got it. This was a Rexon 09 production. Now, the reason I am starting with this shot is because this shot is quite simple, and so I wanted to start with that. So as you can see, all my scripts are all very similar. So I'll give an example. I'm going to open up another script. I'll open up 490, which also has to be open on Nuke 12. All the other ones I can open in Nuke 15. So there's like 60 shots or something. And so it's some of them are working in Nuke 12, others only work on Nuke 15. So it's kind of a bit of a problem. So yeah, but you can kind of see that although there were 3 people compositing this, including me, they kind of look the same. You see, like the way the look of them. I'm a very organized and tidy compositor, and so I try to force that to all my compositors as well. They have to work like I do. So otherwise I'm going to be a bit upset with them and maybe not hire them again. And so yeah, so if I look back at that shot, I'm going to just like show you a little bit of what's going on here. So the background itself is a matte painting. So this is the matte painting we got from David Gibbons. And so this is a Photoshop matte painting. That's kind of, I would say, the beginning of the whole thing. And so this thing has a lot of passes. All of them, some of them, unfortunately, are called layer 17 and layer 18 and layer 19. But you kind of understand what's going on there if you kind of like pull the thing. As you probably know, when you open a Photoshop file inside of Nuke, it gets really slow. So this is, the Photoshop reader has this button here. The button is called breakout layers, and so keep that in mind. That button over there is for you to click, and then it breaks out all the specific layers of the Photoshop file, and then it kind of reconstructs this kind of like thing that is resembling what the Photoshop file looks like. Now the Photoshop file looks like, if you merge it all together, it would look similar to that. It's a bit slow, so keep in mind. Now, first tip I would tell you really is not to use the Photoshop file itself on the script. The reason for that is because Photoshop is really slow inside of Nuke. So the file itself, the first thing I do is I export it as an EXR. I export it as a multipass EXR. And so that way I can keep all the layers of Photoshop, but I can kind of get it on a much more lighter
way of playing back, especially if it's a very heavy matte painting. And that's what I did here. I've mixed it as an EXR. And so we built we ended up doing a 3D system with it. So the matte painting, as you can see here, is split. So we have just the sky, which is here. That's just the sky. I'm going to just f-stop a little bit more and gamma a little bit more because I don't have the original LUT that we've used in this production. So everything is incredibly dark when you're looking at it. So I just wanted to keep that in mind, that it's a bit dark when you look at it through there. Now, that's the sky. Someone is asking on the chat, why not DPX? I don't use DPX because EXR has a lot more latitude and it has a lot more dynamic range. So I would recommend and advise everyone to use an EXR and not DPXs. So we also have the mountain here, which we've moved on to the side there. We also, so as you can see here, this is just a basic matte painting setup that we first did just to get the thing over, and then we transferred it to a 3D system. Now this 3D system is really simple. It's just like this, you see? Really, really simple. There's no parallax going on almost, so it doesn't need to be anything projected. It's just literally just some layers like this. Nothing fancy. We didn't even separate these mountains because there wasn't any parallax going on anyway. But this is the camera from Maya that we've exported. So when you look at through the camera's perspective, it should look exactly like your render. So this is also something I advise everyone to bring in the camera from Maya or whatever 3D system you're using, so that you can kind of have parity with the 3D system of Nuke and the system that you're using, the 3D system that you're using. This then is color corrected a little bit, and now on the other hand we have the CG here. Now this CG is just this. It's quite silly, quite tiny. It's just a little city there. That's the CG we got. So this is mainly the city that we build for the fight. Majority of the fight happens here on this area here, as you can see. That's the area that we did all the fighting on the project. And then we basically have nothing else. It's just an alpha channel because the whole thing is a matte painting. Obviously, you don't need to do a matte painting. You could have done it in 3D, but because this was the only white shot of the trailer, we figured we'll just use a matte painting because then we can save some resources. It's easier to render, use it to do. We really trust David to do the matte painting, and so he did that for us. And so that's it. But you could have done it with Unreal. You could have done it with anything else. I also have some passes, not that they make much difference. We have the GI here, the global illumination. We have reflections, water reflections, the specularity. We have the emission, which is just the windows, really. We have some diffuse lighting as well here. We have the GI raw, the shadow pass, the difference, the diffuse raw. We also have the texture alone if we need to adjust. We ended up not doing that at all. We didn't really use all these AOVs, but we kind of thought it's better to have them than to not have them. That's always my model. So I always try to do that. And then of course this entire thing is me building just that EXR, because of course I could have rendered the multipass EXR, but that was too heavy to transfer through the network because we were working remotely. And so because it's a lot easier to sync individual files than to sync one large file. And so we separated the EXRs instead of doing one single EXR. Now these are 16-bit EXRs, and now we have utilities. The utilities are, depth pass, basically some normals pass, some position, and some, I believe, motion blur as well. We have some object IDs. At the time, there was no cryptomat, so obviously this is what a cryptomat would be. It would be like that, so that you can kind of use it. And then, of course, we ended up rebuilding the shader. We didn't do much to it, as you can see here. You can kind of see that this is the only thing we actually did to it. We had some grading here. We have some tweaks here. And so I'll show you. That is coming from this matte painting here. So, yeah. Let's see here. So let me show you what I've done.
So we started with multiplying the diffuse by the GI. So we had like the GI, raw GI, then basically unpre-multiplied the diffuse, and then multiply it together. That gave us the light. Then we ended up getting the direct light, and then also multiplying it by the diffuse as well to get that. We did have a lot of aggressive color correction here. The reason for that is because at some point during this production, there was a decision to have a moon. So the client asked us to have a moon baiting the fight and baiting the shot, and so we ended up like doing this kind of color correction just to push the lighting. So this is nothing more than just the lighting being pushed with a simple contrast and gamma. I know it's a bit dirty, but you know, this is a cinematic. It's not really a film. It doesn't need to match anything. So I don't really need to be worried that it's not gonna match something else that someone else did, you know. Then we, of course, we have this. This is the GI. Then we merged it with the light. And this is the difference of the color, of the baiting of the moon. And then we ended up like putting in the lights. The lights we didn't really do much. I think we just pumped them a bit. So you see they're a bit brighter, just to make them look nicer and also to make them ping, more. And John is asking, isn't USD the next big thing? Yeah, it is, absolutely. So we do use USD. It's just that not at this project. This project was done in 2017 and 18. So we didn't have the USD at the time. So we used FBX, and we also used Alembic to do this project. Now, the reflections is where we really... yeah, so someone is asking why the beauty design needs to have an unpremult. So the reason I did that is because if you look closely here, the raw GI is already unpremultiplied, you see? It's already fully opened up. The alpha channel is unpremultiplied. And then when you look at the diffuse is pre-multiplied. So for me to do a multiplication operation here, because this multiplication operation is going to affect the edges, I have to unpremult this diffuse. So the diffuse is been pre-multiplied already, as you can see here on the edges. And so I do an unpremult so I can open the edges up. And that then matches the raw GI, so that the raw GI and the diffuse match in terms of pre-multiplication rules. So that's why we put an unpremult just there. You should always check the premults. Look at the edges, have a look at them, and see what's going on. You know, just it's always easier to just judge by looking at it. The same goes for the direct light. The direct light was already unpremultiplied. The refraction wasn't, so although it's hardly visible. And then the reflection is the same thing. So now, the reflection, that's where we did a lot of work. As you can see here, we did some grading. And also we brought in the entire matte painting setup. And this is very dirty, so beware. Man, I need to tell you a secret, okay? I am not really a compositor of finesse. I am a dirty, really quick and dirty commercial compositor, okay? So this is a quick and dirty way of reflecting the matte painting into the body of water. So basically, I ended up like, cropping it, mirroring it, transforming it, cropping it again, do a bit of roto, displaced it with a glass. This is a note from Nukipedia. So basically it gives you this. It basically displaces with the water the reflection. And then I graded it a bit down, cropped it again so that I have bounding box a bit smaller, and then I merged it on the top of the reflection. So remember, this was the original reflection we had. So that's the reflection we had. And then we added the fake matte painting being reflected. Now, obviously I could have asked for the CG artist to put it in the 3D system and then reflect it, like I could have asked that, but I didn't. So yeah, that's how it worked. And then I guess then we have the light. So this is also unpremultiplied. We did some hue correction to it and some grading to make it more moon-like. And and then basically we comped it in. So we had, this was what we had before. So basically we had, so starting from the beginning, we had just the GI, then we have the light, then we have the refraction, then we have the water with those extra reflections on the sides. And then we put the other body of water. And then I think this is just the emission, which has hardly anything. And then we merged it together. And then from there, did a bit of grading, a bit more grading, a bit more grading, a bit more grading. We used I used the ramp because I want to mostly focus my grading on the bottom area here. And then this is something I've been doing in compositing for a long time. So this is what I called a fog setup. So I basically have like so yeah, okay, let me just get back, like go back. So you either have a depth pass, right? And so the depth pass is, of course, is very sharp, and it has no antilization, and it's not blurred at all. It's really sharp. And so that doesn't really work to do a fog because it's sharp. But that's how you should have it. You should have a raw depth pass with the raw values for you to feed it into the bokeh node or to the ZD focus node. So take your pick, of course. Now, the whole point with this is that for me to do a fog, I need a clean depth. So I need a depth pass that would be as filtered as the CG. And this is a request I always give to my artists. So I asked Juan Brockhaus, which is the CG artist of this project, to do this, to do a green and a BU. So you see the BU, the B, is just like a depth pass. And as you can see, it looks like a depth pass, but it's fully antilization. And so it won't work for the depth of field, but it will work for a fog. And then I ask also for something else, which is what I called a Y pass. And this is a depth pass in Y. And I think it's hard to notice with this shot. I'll open the other shot for me to explain a little bit. Let me just show you this. Okay, so I'm going to just open up. So I'll open up shot. Let's see here. I'll open up shot 60. Okay, sorry. I was just checking my notes. Which one what I would open. I prepared quite a few of them for you today. Okay, so let's have a look here to the Y of this shot. So this shot is a different shot. It looks the same, of course, but this is that shot. Let's just go to the end here. Oh, maybe I'll go to the beginning. And so the Y is here. So same setup. And you can see here, so I basically have green and blue. So you see the blue channel is like a depth pass, but fully antilization. So you see the antilization and filtering matches the rendering antilization and filtering. And then the green is what we call the Y pass. So it's basically from the bottom to the front. And so the cool thing about something like this is that it allows you to do something like this. It allows you to make, if I grade it a bit, allows you to make imagine a lower fog. So you can use it as a color correction to do a lower thing. It's almost like a grading for you to do. It's a Y depth. I guess that's the word for it. I never read it anywhere as a Y depth, but I guess it is called a Y depth, I guess. Well, anyway, doesn't matter. So that's it there. And so this would give you this kind of stuff. So I shuffled it out here. So I'm just going to go back to here and go back to red. Graded it a little bit, merged it with white, clamped it a little bit. At some point we removed it, so at some point we had this, but then we took it out because this was, you see, it was too much. So we had a bit of fog and then we had inner fog on the bottom, but at some point we gave up on this because it was getting too atmospheric. So we took away, yeah, that's the word, Rio. Rio has the word there. It's called the ground fog. Damn it. Thank you, Rio. I didn't. I wasn't really having the word for it. And so I'm gonna remove these two, and then if we finally do a pre-multiplication. So this is, you see, the edges are not pre-multiplied yet, so we finally do a pre-multiplication at the very end. So that's the final thing. And then we have some glints and glows. I believe that's that's depth of field. We ended up not doing depth of field on this shot because it was so wide that we ended up not putting depth of field at all. As opposed to a shot like this, where we have depth of field. So if I go in here, where is it? It's in here. So that's the... Now, this is the old PG bokeh. This is the PG bokeh from the time. So this is, I believe, different from the bokeh node, because PG bokeh used to be called... It used to be called PG bokeh, and now it's called just bokeh. This is one we used to buy it, and we had to pay a separate license for it. Now it's free. It comes in with Nuke, so it's that's why it has a different name. But you see the depth of field here was used the same way. So and then you get like the depth of field here. So I'll just like show you here if you just give it a second. Yeah, so that's the depth of field, you know, with a nice bokeh and a nice aberration, and we have like some nice lens artifacts here. This is just the background, of course. As you probably noticed from what I've done in the past in my streams, we've often use separated layers. So I have obviously these days with Deep, it's a bit easier to solve this, but I tend to do a separate one. You see, I have depth of field for this one, and then I have depth of field, a separate depth of field just for the person, like the actual character has separate depth of field, and they're separated. But anyway, let's go back to the other shot. We'll go back to this in a minute. So that's really the city landscape. And then, of course, that gets merged into the matte painting. So that's the matte painting setup that we saw before. And then we put in the city with the reflections and the water and everything. And as you can see, that dirty comp of the water really works really well. And it actually kind of, with the displacement and everything, kind of looks real-ish. It looks real-ish. It's not perfect, but it doesn't need to be perfect. But you see, the fog would produce quite a lot of problems, and then I would have to, of course, fog this up as well. So for this to work, I would have to do a fog. Of course, I can do a dirty one here, just a quick one, but I would have to like do this. You know, I would have to like put a bit of white here and a bit of blue here and try to like match the entire fog setup here, a bit more saturated, and I'd have to like start doing that. And so you see, this is way too much. It's too much fog. There's no way there will be so much fog with an open sky with the moon, because remember, that's why we changed it, because at some point the moon was requested to be in the shot, and so we couldn't really put fog. I like fog. I love Silent Hill, so of course I love like fog. Okay, so yeah, and then I guess then the rest is quite simple. I love to use action VFX and some elements, and so this is just an element that's a ground floor as well, and basically this is basically just color corrected, merged. The same goes for this one, like that, and then multiplied by. So basically this, what's going on here is like I have this ground floor which moves like this. So this is an element, this is a piece of stock. And then I pick up the background, blur the hell out of it, crop it, color corrected it, and then multiply it so that we get some of the colors into the element. And then I sharpen it a bit more, and then I merge it on top, so we get like this. You get like a little bit of atmospherics going on. Then we get another piece of atmospherics on the bottom there. And then we did like some crop, and then I have like some glints and glows that go on top, especially for the lights, and then I have some final color correction, more color correction, a vignetting going on here, so, and then that as well, and then some chromatic aberration, some scaling and lens distortion. So we have like a lens distortion going on here as well for the shot. Some grain, and the grain is a piece of grain, an actual piece of grain that was filmed, that is then merged. And then I have some more grain because I love grain. Client was loving grain as well. And that's really it. Like that's the final shot that we then delivered. It doesn't look amazing, but it doesn't look bad. I'm happy with it. I mean, I would have done it differently these days. I think I'm a bit more grown up now, and I would have done it with less glow and probably more sharpness and better looking things. But unfortunately, this is how it goes, right? Like I had all these plans. I had 5 shots to open to show you. Because I wanted to show you also this shot here as well, and show you some of the stuff we did here, especially with the atmospherics being merged with him and everything in the motion blur. And also, last but not least, I really wanted to talk about this shot here, which is 6:30. But we're running out of time because the stream of the Oscars is going to be soon. So we need to do the giveaway so that we can get out of Dodge and go to the stream of the Oscar. So I do apologize in advance that we didn't cover more, but I'll be back. Don't worry, I'll be back. I am considering doing this every 2 weeks. And so we'll go through and pick up exactly for where we came from. This is the other shot I wanted to open up, especially the rain and the interaction with the water and everything. I wanted to kind of like go through that and show you how that was done. So yeah, we have quite a few shots to go through. So we'll do that next time. I do apologize that we usually don't run the stream short. I usually go for as long as I want, but I really want to go through the Oscars thing. And I really appreciate that there's almost 100 people here watching. Thank you so much for being here. But let's do the giveaway. Let's do the giveaway. So let's start with the Foundry giveaway, which is again, like I've said before, here's the Foundry. There it is. Foundry supporting the channel. Thank you so much for that. So I can see that there are 109 people that want to win the license, which is cool. Let's see who won the license. And then we have also the Nuke course as well. So, and don't forget, I'll be back in 2 weeks again, and I'll pick up exactly from where we left off. Don't worry, we'll pick up exactly where we were so we can continue doing this. So let's do the winners here and see who won the Nuke license. Let's see here. Okay, so the winner of the Nuke license, and I need to like get some kind of noise for this, don't I? Like a sound like. Let's see here. So the winner. Okay, so winner of the Nuke Indie is. Okay, so let's see here if I can get this name correctly. Oh, it's so hard to copy paste things. Okay, so it's from here. Okay, so it's that's the wrong name. Oh, man, sorry. I know I'm destroying the mood. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pronounce your name correctly, but the winner of the license is Davinder Bazanti. I think that's the winner. I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name. So it's Davinder Bazanti. Davinder Bazanti. I think that's the name. I think that's how I pronounce it. Congratulations. You've won the Nuke license. I hope you're here. Da Vinci? No, it's not Da Vinci. So congratulations. You've won the Nuke license. Congratulations. Hope you're here, David. I really hope you're here. But congratulations. That you've won the Nuke license. That's you? Okay, cool. Yeah, I can see that's you. Congratulations, my friend. You won the Nuke license. Okay, so now let's run the... And again, I know there's questions, and especially I know Julian was asking about the log to Lin. Don't worry, Julian. I'll reply that on the next stream. Because we're going to go through that. So now the winner for my Nuke course. And don't forget that you can have my Nuke course right now for 50% off. So just use the promo code Valentine's on my course, and you can get 50% off on my Nuke course. So don't forget, I'm running a 50% off discount right now until Sunday. So let's do the winner for my Nuke course. So the winner for my Nuke course is, let's see here. Let's see here. So the winner is, let's see here. So I hope I don't mispronounce this. So winner of my Nuke course. And don't forget that we do this every time we do a stream with Nuke. The Foundry gives us a license to give away. So if you don't win today, you can get it next time, okay? So the winner of the Nuke course is Abrar Sarwar01. I think that's the name. Arbar Zarbar01. Yeah, that's it. Cool. So I hope you've enjoyed this. We're gonna move on to the stream. I remember there was a way of sending the stream and doing some kind of isn't there a way for me to like send the stream to another stream, like to, I thought there was, maybe I'm mistaken, but I remember there was a way of sending my stream to another stream, but maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, thank you so much for being here today. There was a lot of people today. Thank you so much. There's like 500 people that watched today. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I thought I could send my stream to some other place, but I thought there was like a kind of like an option to do. You know what I mean, like to do like we used to do on Twitch on Twitch, to like raid another channel. But I guess not. I guess not. I need to like research. Oh, but anyway, the video is not a stream. It's like a premiere, so it won't happen anyway. But anyway, let's go. It's a minute to go with the Oscars. Don't forget to go and see the Oscars. And thank you so much for being here. And so, yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks. And have a great day. We'll continue exactly where we left off. And yeah, thank you so much for everything. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.